Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant and welcome back for more of Let's Play Pokémon SoulSilver. In the last bonus episode, we played Voltorb, flipped, got almost 1,000 coins, and in this episode, we're going to be taking on the Goldenrod City Gym. The incredibly pretty girl, Whitney. Incredibly pretty. I'm confused too, Heracross. But this gym is all about normal-type Pokémon. The only type that normal-type is weak against is fighting-type. And guess what Heracross is? The only disadvantage to that is Heracross doesn't have any fighting-type moves yet. But hopefully we'll remedy that before we get to the gym leader. That's why I wanted to give Heracross a couple of extra levels, although most of those were gotten looking for Ditto on Route 34. So we'll be a little bit higher level than we probably should be at this point, although most players, knowing what Whitney is like, will say, "No, that's ludicrous, you're exactly where you should be if you want a fighter's chance." So I'm going to be giving HC Beetle as much experience as possible right now. And since he's really strong on the physical side, he should be one-shotting most of these guys. So he's going to make mincemeat of these idiots. As much as I love Sentret. Level 16, the thing that hasn't evolved yet? You could have at least had a Furret. Oh, Defense Scroll. Very helpful for a certain move that the gym leader has on her biggest Pokemon, but since you don't have it on yours, it's kind of silly. And if it wasn't made apparent in the original version, because I never saw it, this gym is actually shaped like a Clefairy, which is another normal-type Pokemon that we're going to see used, if not soon, by... where is the other trainer? There's nobody else up here? That was the only one up here? I could have sworn there was one down here. Oh well. We'll see one before the end, I'm sure. Normal types are like the generic type. Meowth! They're like a generic type. The only advantage to using one is that it's immune to ghost-type attacks, but ghost types are also immune to normal-type attacks, which is kind of interesting. But normal types are just what the type suggests they are, normal. There's not too much out of the ordinary about them. And there are a lot of normal types. There are even a few normal types that are dual-type with something else. I'm trying to think of a good example of one that we've run into already, but besides normal flying types like Pidgey and Hoothoot, I can't think of one off the top of my head that we've run into already. There are a couple of really interesting ones, though. You can see physical attack is 53 already, and we're only level 18. That's one of the reasons I really like Heracross. He is incredibly strong, but you'd think you could progress this way, but you can't. You actually have to go all the way back around the staircase that we originally came down, and go through the entrance over there. Took me a while to find that my first time. You like cute Pokemon better than strong Pokemon, so you're exactly the opposite of Snicker. Jigglypuff! We saw one of these on the overworld, but this is the first one he actually got into a fight against, isn't it? I'm trying to preserve my headbutts until the gym leader, because I think we could one-shot Jigglypuff with a horn attack as well. And you've got another Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is one of the Pokemon that got a baby form in this generation if you bred it at the daycare. Igglybuff! It's one of the creepiest looking Pokemon, I think. Even though I think it's supposed to be adorable, I never really found Igglybuff to be cute. Do we ever run into one in this game? I don't think we do. There are a lot of baby forms that I don't think we run into in this game. They were made a lot more prevalent in the 4th generation games, where they introduced even more baby forms. With Pokemon breeders, the kind of trainer that you would run into that would have a whole bunch of baby Pokemon. I let my guard down to all the beautiful women I come across because I'm a boy. Snubble! I really hope I can take you down, because I could really use the experience. I will be very upset if I'm only a couple of experience points away from actually getting the move I want to use. Great, so our physical attack and our speed are now knocked down 2 stages. Wonderful. And we're still faster than Snubbull. I didn't realize how slow it was. I guess that's why he has Scary Face. I never used Totodile's Scary Face. He's Croconaw now. I should probably be calling him Croconaw. But Crunch also has that move. I've just never used it. Please give me enough experience to get a level up. That's not going to be enough. Great! I get to run out of the gym and come back. Off-screen training, go! And with this level up to 19, HC Beetle will finally get a move that's going to be useful in the next gym! Brick Break! A fighting-type move! So let's get rid of... I want to get rid of Endure, but Horn Attack is 65, Brick Break is 75, so it's stronger, and we get Stab on it. Forget it. Bye, Horn Attack! So now we have a physical attack, fighting-type move, 75 base power. HC Beetle is now a beast. But he did take a little bit of damage while we were training him up, so I'm going to heal him up and meet you guys back at the gym. And now that we're all set and ready to go, it's time to face Whitney. The bane of most Pokemon players' existence. She'll open up with a Clefairy, which is the only normal type from this gym that we really haven't seen yet. Not much to write home about, especially considering that Heracross should be able to one-shot this thing. The rest of this fight is not going to be as much of a cakewalk, though. If you have to do any sort of buffs to set up for her Miltank, which she will be sending out next, her Clefairy is the best Pokemon to do it on. Now, this thing likes to use a move that makes you fall in love with it. Since it is a female, and I think everyone on my team is male, I'm just going to send out Sleepy to bait it into using that move while I cripple it a little bit. Hopefully I can get the Thunder Wave off, but really I'm just doing this to stall for time. What Infatuation does is it prevents you from moving 50% of the time. Which I suppose is an enhanced version of Paralysis. But Miltank has a Lumberry, so I completely forgot that it's going to immediately relieve itself of the status condition I inflicted on it. Maybe Static will kick in. So now that it's using Stomp, which is a fairly powerful normal-type move, he's probably... Okay, good, we broke through the Flinch and the Infatuation. That's not very likely to happen. So now Sleepy's done his job, Miltank is paralyzed. I don't think I can one-shot Miltank with the Brick Break, which is why I wanted to get it paralyzed in the first place. But since he's not going to be using Attract, this is my free chance to get a good hit on him. Because Miltank's probably going to use Attract on this turn if it doesn't get paralyzed. No, she didn't use Attract. I'm actually surprised. And I'm hoping that Miltank isn't at a low enough level of HP that she'll full restore the thing, or restore its HP. Okay, I got really lucky. Miltank also knows Defense Curl, which... not Defense Curl, Rollout, which is a Rock-type move that doubles in power every turn you use it. So you want to avoid having it build up a Rollout combo as much as possible. And I think the only other move she didn't show us was Milk Drink, which allows her Miltank to restore 50% of its HP. We can avoid all of that just by using a Fighting-type move. You're supposed to give me a gym badge, right? Heracross? Do you want to beat her up for me? You're not feeling too well, are you? So if we try to leave, One of the trainers is going to come up to us and say she'll stop crying eventually, she just gets that way whenever she loses. And if you go back to talk to her again, she'll give us the plain badge. And with the plain badge, we can now use the HM's strength outside of battle, which we don't have yet either. Why is this game doing that to us? But she also gives us her trademark technical machine, TM45, which is Attract. If used on a Pokemon that is of the opposite gender of the Pokemon that used it, it'll become infatuated with it and be unable to attack 50% of the time. But a new addition to the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games is the Pokeathlon Dome, which is right next to where the National Park is. So that's probably going to be worth checking out. Unfortunately, I don't have the equipment to adequately show off what's there, so I probably won't be able to. But I will point out where it is and what you can get from it. In the meantime, I think it's best to heal these guys up, and I'm going to open up a slot in my active roster to pick up a Pokemon that we can run into before we head on our way. So, I'll meet you guys back out here. So now that we have the plain badge in hand, it's finally time for us to leave Goldenrod City and head further up north. But before we do that, there is two places over here. I didn't check out this place for some silly reason. But there's one other place I really want to check out before we leave. And for some reason I think you have interesting stuff to say. Okay, you're just telling us about power points. We know about PP. You want to check out the place over here, the Goldenrod Flower Shop. And when we head in here and talk to this lady, she wouldn't have done anything for us before if we didn't have the plain badge. But she tells us about an odd tree on Route 36, near where we got the Heartstone from Arthur of Thursday. And if we talk to her after getting the badge, she'll give us the Squirt Bottle, which we can use to take care of that tree. So, with all of that stuff out of the way, let's head out. And now the reason why I have an open slot on my roster is if we talk to this guy over here. He says he got a letter from his friend, and he has a reply to give back to his friend, but unfortunately, he can't deliver it, so he's wondering if we can deliver it for him. But he's not just going to give us a letter for it, he's actually going to give us a Pokemon that has the mail attached to it, Spearow. Don't worry, we'll take care of that tree. Now his Spearow Kenya is level 20, so it's a higher level than anyone that we have right now. But it's carrying a grass mail, and apparently that guy's name is Webster. Interesting. You can use this thing if you want, but you'll eventually lose it anyway if you follow through with the little side quest here, so no real sense in doing it. Yes, I already know how to listen to the radio. Yes, a lot of people on the internet are backseat drivers. Don't be this woman! And now we've arrived at Route 35. More trainer battles! Generally, up here is where I like to do a little bit of training before the Goldenrod City Gym, because there are a lot of really good trainers out here whose Pokemon are about the same level as ours, so it's a really nice place for you to get some experience if you're looking for some. And now we can finally see Croconaw. Wait a minute. Why did Croconaw not have his nickname? When I showed off the name Raider and I said no, did that reset their nicknames? I'm really confused right now. I didn't realize that Croconaw and Furret were still Croconaw and Furret. And when they evolved, they lost their nickname? What? I'm confused. I guess this is something I'm going to have to look into off-screen. I didn't even notice that. How long have they not had their nicknames? Will-O-Wisp burns you! And now not only are we going to be losing an eighth of our max HP at the end of every turn, but Croconaw's physical attack is now cut in half. Water Gun is not a physical move, though, so no worries there. And now I'm going to head back to the Name Raider and correct whatever mistake apparently happened. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but I'll meet you guys back here.